Hey guys, I'm just popping into the beginning of this video because you're probably going to realize that this one was filmed a few months ago and the footage has just kind of been sitting here waiting for me to get around to it. The intent was to take a break for Christmas, which we did, and then that kind of turned into a break because I was basically just doing a whole lot of computer work. I take classes for my business at the beginning of the year. I decide what I want to learn, and so it was just kind of a whole lot of me sitting around staring at a computer screen, which was great for me and getting stuff done, but probably not very exciting for you guys. So I will do a little bit of like a recap thing at the beginning of the next video, but I kind of wanted to post this one, so enjoy. Good morning. I swear it feels like we've gone right back to spring because everything melted. Random like plus 15 in the middle of December will do that, I guess. Anyways, we're heading out to the workshop. She's going to get her wig on, and I'm going to run the laser, get some stuff done for some orders, but I'm going to focus on getting the chinking fixed on that paint corner.
Look at you sitting up.
I have a feeling that the the playpen is much more interesting now that she can actually sit up. She kind of she can almost look out. Kind of live balls. And she can also play with her toys. A lot easier. I'm going to work on this. I'm going to get the laser started, as I said. But this is what we're working on. So this, as you might be able to tell, is a log cabin. And when we got here, a lot of this chinking was all falling out. There's a lot of air gaps between every single log. So what I did was I carved out the rest of it. I spray foamed in here because we wanted something that would still be able to expand and contract with the movement of the logs. So we did that. And then on the rest of the building, you can see there's no spray foam exposed. We did a chinking. Now, there's a whole recipe or multiple recipes, a whole bunch of different ways of doing actual proper chinking. You mix horsehair, there's lime, there's a whole bunch of other stuff. There is actually a new version that you can actually get in a caulking tube. And it does basically the spray foam, as you know, because the spray foam is more of a air gap at the moment. Offers a little bit of insulation, but there's not really enough of it for insulation. It's mainly just an air gap or air sealer. There's a really expensive product that you can get, a caulking tube, that will do the same thing, but it was going to cost us literally thousands when we originally looked at it, and that was a few years ago. That's not taking consideration the ridiculous growth in material costs. So the cheaper alternative that we went with, which still does the same thing, spray foaming. Some of the gaps you can see are a bit larger. We just put 2-inch foam to kind of take up a little bit of the space. The spray foam can also get expensive. And then once that's done, carve it back and just put regular mortar mix onto it. Now that mortar mix does not give. It will crack as the logs move. But again, it's more of just a decorative cover at this point because the spray foam's doing all the work. And these sections over here were done a few years ago. You can kind of see there's a little bit of cracking, but not much. You can kind of see, there's a crack there. There's a crack there. There's not too much. But again, that's not actually stopping the air anymore. That's just cosmetic, covering up the insulation. So that version is a lot more budget friendly because, I mean, the bag of mortar mix to do this entire thing is, I think actually I have more mortar mix than I need just to do this. And that bag's like $5. I think it's a 30 kilogram bag, but it's like $5 for the thing, for the bag. And it's like probably almost 3 times as much as I need to do this one little corner. So since I'm not spraying anything on this bench, normally this is a spray bench, so normally this is very sticky. Since I'm not spraying anything and I haven't sprayed anything in a little while, which means this is nice and dry, I'm gonna get up in there and do that before I have to start spraying again. Yeah, 30 kilograms. Back. Well, that's super rude. Before I had my bench here, I actually had Dan's bench before we fixed up the other spot so that he could have his own workshop. Basically, you gave Dan this corner, but because he was working with metal and I didn't want him to burn down a log cabin, which was full of dust, and he's using metal saws and sparks and welders, we end up putting a tin roof, the old tin that actually came off of this building. We just kind of screwed it to this wall to protect the logs, which is why there is a gaping hole in there, because the mice apparently got in behind the logs, carved out a nice little warm home. But I mean, it kind of helps to show you what it was before. So you can kind of see the spray foam in there. That's what it was on both sides. There was mostly the wire mesh was on the outside. That's old lath mesh, metal lath mesh on the outside, holding on all the outside mortar. Eventually I'll go through and take all that out as well, but for now we just carved out the inside, spray foamed, and we were gonna chink on top of this, but I guess I have to go get some spray foam from inside because there's a gaping hole now. Hi, Bugaboo. Hi. Well, that shop time was short-lived. Guess we're gonna go have an early lunch while we wait for that to dry. Hmm? So that's the basic idea. I was waiting for that to cure. Apparently it hasn't completely cured, but it's fairly thick piece, so it'll take a little while. It should be cured by tomorrow. I'm hoping I might be able to bribe Jonathan into bringing his oscillating tool, because in order to do the rest of the shop, I wasn't doing this by hand. I had a little oscillating saw, but mine bit the dust a little while ago, so that's not what's gonna happen. So either I do it by hand or I try to talk my friend into bringing his tool over. Hopefully we can get that to work. Yeah. Just kind of carve it all back. I did fill in here. Technically this is open, like the outside wall is here. So technically this is open to the back room. It's not needed for insulation purposes, but it is technically the backing for my parging material, which is just literally straight mortar mix. Again, it's not what's meant to be used, and I don't know if it would be at all usable in a house situation, but I mean, we've used it here and it's stood up just fine. So you saw there was like some tiny little cracks. I'm okay with that. I mean, it's a workshop, and again, the styrofoam or the spray foam is the air barrier. So anyways, I'm gonna call it a night. We've had a very long day here outside of this filming this video, so I'm gonna try again tomorrow. Morning. Okay, so Jonathan is on his way to get some lasering done, and while he's here, since he's driving all the way out here, apparently we're going to do a little bit more work on the dust collection system. I didn't expect him to come out this many times, especially during this Christmas rush. But I mean, ultimately my goal for December was to get as much of the lengthy to-do list for the workshop done as I possibly could. So I mean, if he comes out and we get more stuff done, you know, it's knocking things off my to-do list, I guess. So orders are painted, first coat. I've started to sort out what tops I need. There's a few I still need these, but those ones aren't going out this week. Laser is ready. Jonathan's here, and getting going. Okay, well, as you can see, Jonathan's gone. He did leave his multi-tool. That was a bit of a whirlwind visit, but he wasn't able to stay for the entire time to get all his boxes done. He has an appointment, so he's now rushing back to the city. Hopefully, it'll be okay. But as I said, he left his multi-tool, so I'm going to be able to finish cleaning this up. I'll probably get this stuff covered, and he's going to come back this weekend to pick up his boxes and help me with the dust collector, or filter, dust filter. right. Had lunch. Before I had lunch, I carved out all that, so it's ready to go. I have my workshop helper. So, should be able to get that stuff done, turn on a little laser, and get some painting done. So, nice, relaxing afternoon. And I get a workshop buddy, and Dan gets to get things done without a workshop buddy. We have decided upon the chair. We're going to do the chair first, before the playpen. One wiggle's wiggling. I've got mortar mix, random tools, gloves, water, bucket. Mix that up. Laser is running. Stuff paint on there is drying. I managed to paint myself. I'm finally gonna get this done. So the basic idea of this is pretty simple. Take mud and push mud onto styrofoam, spray foam, until it sticks. It needs to be, you have to mix up small batches because it needs to be relatively firm so it actually stands up, but at the same time, not enough that there's too much in here that it'll dry before you get it on here. And then you kind of just work quickly. I usually try to work from left to right just because I'm right-handed and it's easier to do that. But I find that working from one side to the other makes it a lot easier because then you're not reworking the stuff that you just put on there. And the more you rework it, the drier it gets, harder it is to get a nice smooth finish. Just kind of keep blending it in. This little bit of stuff here is fine because when it's dry, it's super easy to clean that up. It just brushes off because there's a little something there to hold it. So this notch, and the one there, and the matching ones throughout the workshop would originally have been notches for floor joists going all the way across, or ceiling. I'm assuming floor joists. Anyways, they are nice big holes. These are pretty darn big to begin with, but this is a lot of weight for the mortar to try and hold. So what I do is I put notches into the styrofoam in here in order for it to grab into something. And also I just keep forcing it in all these little grooves, all these little holes, pockets, everything like that, just to help it hold. Once it's dry, it'll be fine. But it's a lot of work. And it's a lot of arm muscle forcing the stuff in. But it looks mighty pretty after it's done. And just like that, it's all done. There's little bits of spray foam here that still needs to be taken out, but that will get cleaned up. This stuff that's extra will get cleaned up. I'm not worried about this stuff because there's a backsplash coming up and over. And I got a little bit here and here and a little bit there. Again, that'll be closed off. This will be closed off. Backsplash on there. Door trim on there. And we're good to go. That's the last section of the shop that needed to be chinked. And my helper, he's having a grand old time. Hey? You had a good long nap? And then you got to wiggle and watch Mommy. Hi. Okay, well, we are all ready to go inside. This one is more than happy to keep wiggling. But it's time to go have some food. And then I'll come back out here and sand and stain some stuff. But that's basically it for today. What do you think? Are we done? We're going inside? See you guys later.